All right, tonight we're diving into something truly special. We're talking about Bala Chaturdashi, which is just one of the most profound nights in the entire Vedic tradition, and it's all about our ancestors.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if, in one single night of devotion, you had the power to free the souls of your family line, going back centuries, 14 generations deep? It's a pretty wild idea, right? Almost hard to wrap your head around. But that concept, well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
See, that staggering idea is the promise of Bala Chaturdashi. And this isn't just about, passively remembering people. It's an active, powerful ritual of liberation. It's seen as a chance to repay a debt that goes way beyond time itself. So, where did an idea this big even begin?
Well, to really get it, we have to travel way, way back. Thousands of years, actually. Because this idea of honoring and caring for our ancestors, they're called the Pitris, it's not some new thing. No, it's a core duty, something that's woven right into the fabric of the most ancient scriptures, the Vedas.
I mean, just listen to this. This verse from the Rig Veda, we're talking one of the oldest texts in human history. It's like a direct invitation. It's calling out to all ancestors, the ones we know and even the ones whose names have been lost to time, telling them to come and receive what's being offered. That's how this sacred connection gets established, this duty that doesn't just end when someone passes away, but reaches deep, deep into our family line.
Okay, so this ancient duty, it gets supercharged, you could say, on one very specific night. And it all comes down to a really incredible story. An origin story that's all about pure, simple compassion.
So the story, which comes from the Skanda Purana, is actually told by Lord Shiva himself. He talks about this young boy, and this kid's heart was just so pure, so focused on his devotion, that when he tragically passed away while on his way to make an offering, he was granted immediate liberation. Instantly. That's how powerful his pure intention was.
And this is where it all comes together. Lord Shiva, so moved by this boy's pure heart, makes a divine declaration. He names the night Bala Chaturdashi to honor the boy Bala. And then he makes this incredible promise that whoever performs certain rituals on this night, like scattering something called satbij, will free their ancestors for 14 generations. So that begs the question, right? What in the world is this satbij?
Okay, let's get into it. The satbij. This is the absolute heart of the ritual. It literally means 7 seeds, or 7 sacred grains. And believe me, this is no random trail mix. It's a carefully designed cosmic offering. Every single grain in there has a specific and pretty deep meaning.
The key thing to get here is that satbij is basically seen as a tiny model of the entire universe. This whole blend is specifically designed to nourish the subtle bodies of the ancestors, right? To address every single aspect of their spiritual being. So you can see, it's not just food in the normal sense, it's more like cosmic sustenance.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. You can almost see it as a cosmic code. Look at how each grain is linked to a celestial body and a quality. You've got rice connected to the moon to nourish the mind. Then there's wheat for the sun, which is all about life force. Sesame for Saturn helps deal with karma. So when you offer this mixture, you're not just giving a gift, you're providing a complete spiritual meal that's meant to satisfy every possible need of those departed souls.
Okay, so we've got the why and the what. But what about the how? How does all of this actually play out on the night of Bala Chaturdashi? What do people do?
Well, the full tradition is pretty rich, of course, but you can really boil it down to 4 essential acts. First up, you have the scattering of the satbij, those sacred grains. Second, you light what's called an Akanda Deep, an unbroken lamp that acts like a beacon for the ancestral souls. Third is the all-night vigil. Yeah, staying awake all night in prayer and remembrance. And then finally, at dawn, you perform a final water offering and bid them a peaceful farewell.
And what's the outcome of all these simple but deeply profound acts? Well, it's that number again, 14, the liberation of 14 generations. And this isn't just a symbolic number. It's meant to represent the huge amount of spiritual merit that's believed to be created on this one single, incredibly powerful night.
So that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Why does all of this matter so much? And it's so much more than just remembering people who have passed. At its core, it's about repaying what's seen as the greatest debt we could ever have, the Pitra Ren, the debt we owe to the people who literally gave us life.
And check out this quote from the Shiva Purana. It just paints such a powerful picture. The idea is that on this one night, the veil between our world and the next becomes super thin, And our ancestors, they are literally standing there, in spirit, just waiting, hoping that their children, their descendants, will perform these rituals for them. And then, as dawn breaks and the night comes to an end, it all wraps up with this really beautiful farewell blessing. It's not sad, it's not a sorrowful goodbye. It's actually a blessing of release. It's about sending these now satisfied souls on their way, on their journey to the highest realm, completely at peace.
So in the end, this ancient tradition kind of leaves us all with a pretty universal question, doesn't it? It doesn't matter what culture you're from. It makes you think about your connection to everyone who came before you. What is the greatest debt we owe? What do we owe to our past? And maybe, just maybe, how could honoring that past actually shape our own freedom, our own liberation? It's a huge thought, one that definitely sticks with you long after this one sacred night is over.